On 679, we have 12.5, and that is member functions for reading and writing files. And what I'll tell you is the big takeaway from here in 12.5 is the idea of delimiting a file with special characters. So we're going to come all the way down to, it is 682, and we're going to look at program 12-9. So this is really what the member functions portion of this chapter is talking about. So I have iOS in. So what we are suggesting to our F stream is that we are reading from this file. We are not going to be writing to this file. And maybe, is that useful? Certainly, but I don't think that that's the really useful bit here. What we have here is read an item using the $ as a delimiter. So what we're going to do is get a line from our data file. We're going to read that line into a string called input, but we are going to stop reading that line when we get to the $. And really, if we look here, and again, this is on page 682. If we look at the contents of names2.txt, you'll see we have James Murphy, no space, but we do have the $. There's an address, no space, $. Almond, North Carolina. There's our zip code. And here, just to take notice here, at the end of our name and address, we have the extra new line character. That'll be important because that's going to signify, well, actually, it's not going to signify anything, but it's going to help make our output nicer. And then immediately here, we've got Bobby Smith. So that's a new name for a new name and address. So what we're doing here is we are compacting our file. We are just cramming all of this data into there, and the way that we are going to use our program logic to be able to go from one name to another name to another name is not with new line characters. It is with this $, and that's what we're using as our delimiter. So that's how we go from one portion of data to another portion of data to another portion of data. So here inside of our program, and again, it is right here on line 19, get file, and then in parens, data file, comma, input, comma. So that's what we have been doing with that get line here previously, but now we're adding our third argument there, or third parameter there, because we're passing it to the getLine function, and what we've got as our third parameter is our delimiter. So in single quotes, because again, that's the character that we're looking for, we can see the $. So what this is saying is, read as a single line until you hit the $. Character. That will help indicate to the logic here of our program. So really, this is on line 26. We're going to add an end line after that so we can go to the next line underneath. And here, this is what that formatted output looks like. And you'll notice right here, we have that extra new line character between one addressee and the other addressee, and that's because after Almond, comma, North Carolina 28702, you saw the new line character there, that \n. So this delimiting can be really advantageous to you because it can help you compact your files. Now, when you go to look at that file as a human operator, headaches, right? Because the names are going to be different lengths, the characters are going to be different lengths, the addresses are going to be different lengths, and we as readers need regularization there, right? But C++ needs no such shelter. It can go through at alarming speed and look for that delimiter, in this case, the $. Do you need a $sign to be able to delimit it? No, it's a good one though, because it is not one of the reserved keywords for anything. So the $sign actually makes a ton of sense there. Ampersand, the asterisk, the percent, the pound sign, the @ sign, the exclamation are all reserved keywords. So what does it leave you with? Dollar. But that's a really great way to, number one, sort your data into the file, because with that delimiter, I don't have to set aside a certain amount of characters in between them. It gives me something functional that I can use to go 1, 2, 3. Okay, after 3 delimits, I know that I have my next, right? Because that's 1, 2, 3. I know that I have my next data object. 1, 2, 3. I know that I have my next data object. This works remarkably well, and they just forgot to tell you about it here in the chapter.